So this may be one of many, or this may be a standalone video, but it dawned on me this morning that I am building my own house, and this is what I do for a living. As far as the metal buildings go, and I'm incorporating everything else into the steel building. This is something a lot of people want to do, but not a lot of people get the chance to do. And the people that do get to do it don't really know what they're doing. They're in the same boat I'm in. I'm figuring this out as I go. The steel building, I know what I'm doing, but the rest of it, I don't. So I figure I can cover, and hopefully I'll start some videos on this, getting to a point where I can relax a little bit. I think I'm going to beat the winter and be able to get this dried in and at least sleep on an air mattress if I have to, inside, a closed-in building through the winter. So I think I could take some time now and actually start creating videos on how-tos and what-tos and what-not-tos. And this morning, while sipping on my coffee, I realized that I'm working on all my windows and all my doors, which you see behind me, and I'll cover that. But when purchasing a steel building, a lot of questions come of, don't mind the train. A lot of questions come of what size windows do I use, where do I get my windows, that kind of stuff. I can't tell you where to get your windows. Obviously, in a house, you want good R-value windows. But I'm here to discuss the design aspect of it. So a lot of customers, and we'll just take a trip over to, let me find my other set of plans. You get a lot of salespeople that sell you buildings and just slap things in here and there, and you get customers that also don't know what they're doing. So in that situation, we're going to go over what to and not to do. There we go. Okay. So, here's just general set of plans. Here's one of our sidewalls. Now, something that I get a lot of questions on is this FLFO right here. Everybody goes, what is that FLFO? Well, that means it's field located framed opening. Notice that all these hit lines are me physically having to cut every one of these girts. I did this intentionally on my house for a lot of reasons. One, I'm an erector and this is what I do for a living, so I can field fabricate all this. It's a pain in the butt. It takes a lot of time. If I came across this and a customer wanted me to erect this building for them, I would be charging a lot more money just because of how much time this takes. Our issue was when, as my wife and I were designing this building and figuring out what we wanted, it came to a point where we had to buy the building, but we hadn't found the windows yet because I've never explored that option. So we got as close as we could to what we wanted and then went from there. Now, this is typically what most customers have when they're designing their house. They have a layout and they know exactly what it is they're looking for. There we go. Which way's up? That's up. Okay, so this is actually our floor plan of what we're looking for. The building. Here's kind of our floor plan of the steel building with some of the windows in there, but we didn't know for sure yet. So, typically when customers are ready to build a house, they have already purchased their windows, and they have something like this. Now, you have your rough opening size. This is what your erector, your salesperson, the manufacturer, anybody else that's working on the building needs to know is your RO. So this window is 72 inches wide, 48 inches tall. That's the size of the opening that I need to put this window in. I think it gives me an extra ½ inch to be able to adjust this window. Yeah, because your actual unit size is 71 1/4, so it gives me 3/4 of an inch, and I assume that's 3/4 of an inch. So 3/4 of an inch to shim the window, make it level, and everything else. Had I had these and bought these windows previously, and had this, I would have not done field located framed openings. I would have said, because like in this wall, I have 3 windows right here. This window's not even going in. I just added it so I had extra material. This door is completely different. This window has moved to here. So if I would have much rather have had this and then built this, and that way I wouldn't have to cut any of these girts. All these parts would have come pre-made. They would have bolted together, and it would have been nice, clean, and easy. And essentially how that would have worked was this window here. Let's take a step back. There we go. This window here would have come with these 2 door jambs. and this girt would have already been cut. Unfortunately, I don't think there was even a window in this one. The other wall I was showing you was the wall behind me. So this would have all been cut, and I would have just had to bolt this in, and the holes would have been already placed for everything. But what happened was I used this piece from somewhere else. I'm not even sure where I got this. Probably something I cut out, and that's why I had extra material made. Obviously, I've marked my holes. That's for my clip. This girt here, I took this used to be one full girt. I've obviously cut this down to size. I've drilled my holes here. And so this has all had to have been field fabricated. I'm working on the same situation over here on this wall now. And this is what got me thinking that people might want a video. So this is one of my jams now, because I have another window going in here. Bathroom in here, washer, dryer, mudroom-ish thing. Pipe in the wall is for a sink, and I think this pipe in the wall there's going to be a wall here, so this pipe is going to be for the washer and dryer to lead into, and for a sink that's here. There's no water or electric placed yet. Anyways, another day, another video. So this girt is obviously an extra piece. There's only one set of holes in it. It's been cut. It's a rough cut here. We used it for something, one of these other windows. I have to drill my holes. Luckily, this window is a 72 by 48. I think it was actually that window we were looking at. So it's 72 inches wide, 48 inches tall. My girts are 2 foot on center, literally 24 inches on center. So the top of this girt to the top of that girt is 48 inches. So I'm just making these 48 inches, just like I did that window, 48 inches. Makes it easy. That one was already cut. This was a DH. So this was actually a door header. God only knows. I'm sure it was for one of those windows. I think there was 2 windows that I had, because I happen to have 2 DH4s that I used, but they were different size windows, so I had to use other materials. That places that, and so with it being 48 inches, I don't need a header or a sill. That's another thing I need to cover. These are C-channel. This is not standard on most buildings. Most buildings, what you get are Z's, which is this guy up there. These are my purlins, and these are Z's. Most of the time, 90% of the time, you're going to have a Z channel where your outside is down. Yep, and your inside is up. Sorry, it took me a second there. So your outside lip is down, but your inside lip actually comes up. The reason I had this building designed with all C-channel is so I could do exactly what I'm doing. I have all these ledges to put these windows in. You're not going to see any of these when the building's done. This is all going to be covered with membrane and sheetrock. But I can use these for my door headers, and I can adjust this building a little bit at a time. One thing I'm going to do is on this window, if you notice how almost all of my girts are C-channel face down, with the exception of that top row that runs across. Those are all C-channel face up on both sides of the building. Other than those, every C-channel in this building faces down, or is supposed to, per the plans. As you can see here, down, 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 down. That one goes up. But all the rest of them in the rest of the building are supposed to be down. What I'm doing, because I'm using this girt as a window header, I actually rotated this and flipped this up. It gives me a nice clean spot to attach a window to on the outside. What that is going to ultimately now do is it's going to cause a problem for me, because now I'm going to have a 3.5 or 2.5 inch drop. So this lip is 2.5 inches up. This lip is 2.5 inches down. So if I have a screw line, I'm either going to completely miss over here and have to fill all these screws on the outside of the building, or I'm going to have a drop in my screw line that comes here and then drops down 2.5 inches and then continues on. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to flip this girt upside down. I'm going to flip that girt upside down, and that way this is one nice pretty continuous line on the exterior of the building when you look at it from the outside. I am going to do the same thing with this girt and flip those up. You'll never notice that oh, it's the screw line is 2 inches high or low, you'll see a drop in your screws. That'll look like crap. Or if you have 2 lines of screws 2 inches apart from each other, that'll look like crap. But as long as I flip these and hold that line, it's going to be pretty.